We all came across the recent news, the demise of Dr. MS Swaminathan. Politicians, businessmen, sportsmen, everybody are sharing their condolences. Who is Dr. MS Swaminathan? Yes, we all know that he is the father of Green Revolution in India, but what he actually did, first of all, what is Green Revolution? So yeah, what is Green Revolution? Technical advancement is evident in every stream, right? So in agriculture. In the 20th centuries, farmers, upgraded themselves by using hybrid varieties of crops, application of chemical pesticides, chemical fertilizers, mechanization of sowing and reaping of crops to increase the yield. So this is basically Green Revolution. Green Revolution in India. So this began around 1960s, of course, which was led by the great geneticist Dr. MS Swaminathan. He was born and brought up in Kumbakonam, Tamil Nadu. Initially, he wanted to take up medicine, but something changed his mind. What was that? There was a severe and adverse famine that hit Bengal around the 1940s. This famine was not natural, it was man-made. This was because of the British policies. British set up a policy such that all the British colonies have to supply grains to the fighting soldiers in World War II. So, almost 20 lakh to 30 lakh people died because of hunger in Bengal. This struck Dr. MS Swaminathan so hard. He didn't want to pursue medicine anymore. He wanted to do something for his country. He wanted to fight hunger. That is when he made his choice to become an agricultural expert. So he completed graduation in zoology from the Maharaja's College in Trivandrum before enrolling in the Madras Agricultural College, where he secured a bachelor's degree in agricultural science. After this, he went to the Indian Agricultural Research Institute in New Delhi to pursue his post-graduation in plant breeding and genetics. He took up the UNESCO Fellowship in Netherlands to pursue his research on potato genetics, after which he earned a PhD from Cambridge University. In 1954, he started working with the Central Rice Research Institute in Cuttack for the transferring genes for fertilizer response from Japonica varieties to Indica varieties. This was the first step to high-yielding crop protection. This was very crucial for India. Post-independence, India suffered a lot. The crop yield was very less. They had to depend on countries like US for the imports just for their staple foods. The major problem in India was the wheat and the rice crops. They were very tall and slender. They were prone to lodging. That is, they dip, they bend. This is because their earheads were filled with rich grains because of the fertilizer dose. Dr. MS Swaminathan's main goal was to reduce the size of these crops. That is, to make dwarf wheat crops. But this process, this objective, this project was not easy at all. Because the crop is high, you have to make it dwarf, suitable to the Indian condition. It's never an easy project. Only after then, he came into contact with Norman Borlaug. He is the father of Green Revolution of the world. Luckily, fortunately, Norman Borlaug, he was researching similar kind of dwarf crop in Mexico, for Mexico spring conditions, the same dwarf wheat crop. He borrowed the idea from Norman Borlaug and then applied and took seriously the project of dwarf seed germination. From 1963, this began, and after 5 years, there began the wheat revolution in India. The crops were given to, several farmers, several poor farmers, and this brought an end to their famine, this brought an end to their drought, this brought an end to their suffering, their financial status rose up, the livelihood, the instant shoot in their livelihood, they made huge money. So Dr. MS Swaminathan brought an end to the Indian suffering, Indian farmers' suffering, by bringing in new dwarf wheat varieties. He then contributed in several fields of agriculture. He took up several responsibilities, helped farmers, educated them, brought them up, brought their livelihood up. That is why he is, and he will always be celebrated as the father of Indian Green Revolution. Thank you so much, Dr. MS Swaminathan. Rest in peace. You will always be remembered.